My name is RobertMatuszak. I'm a 56-year-old person living in Virginia Beach with a developmental disability resulting from a spinal cord injury that I sustained at the age of 17, almost 39 years ago. Because I was younger than 22 when I became paralyzed, I meet the definition of a person with developmental disability and have a DD waiver. I'm a recent graduate from Old Dominion University and currently serve on the Advocacy, Outreach, and Training Committee as a first-year board member with the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities. I accepted this appointment because I wanted to use my disability life, struggles, and accomplishments to help improve the lives of other Virginians with developmental disabilities. I come here today not as a representative of the board, but instead as a disability advocate whose purpose is to give voice to the underserved and unheard disability and elderly population whose needs are not being met through Virginia's community-based services. While the COVID-19 pandemic is responsible for the deaths and illnesses of many of my fellow Americans, it has had devastating effects on the delivery of community-based services due to a significant shortage in caregivers. This shortage in caregivers has placed the health and living conditions of people with disabilities and the elderly at risk, especially those of us living alone with limited emergency backup. This pandemic is 2 years old, and one of the main reasons for the caregiver shortage is money. Caregivers were underpaid prior to the pandemic, and they still are today. The current hourly wage is simply not enough incentive to bring them back into this field. However, this caregiver crisis is not limited to Virginia. The United States is facing a caregiver crisis, and this crisis is not getting the attention that it deserves. As a consequence of this silence, the disabled and elderly are at great risk of being forced into nursing homes. At least this is my current situation. I no longer have an in-home or personal care agency, and it is exceedingly difficult to hire a caregiver through consumer-directed services for only $11.81. On December 10th, 2021, my DD support coordinator submitted a regional support team referral to the Virginia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disability Services. It is my understanding that the RST referral process is a final effort to acquire community assistance for an individual with a developmental disability facing nursing home placement. I assumed the receipt of an RST referral meant that the problem was dire, thus deserving priority intervention on behalf of the RST. Because we heard nothing, because we heard nothing from the RST, I emailed them on the December 28th, only to find that they would not be reviewing my referral until January 20th, 2022.
Sir, wrap it up, please, if you will. Your 3 minutes is up.
All right, in that case, I submitted this in writing, and I ask all panelists to please read it because I'm going to be institutionalized. And if you don't increase the rates, you're going to put more people into nursing homes as well. And the Supreme Court's ruling in 1999 on the Olmstead Act will be for nothing, and institutions will start housing the elderly and disabled once again.
Yes, sir.
Please read my submission in entirety.
We will. Thank you, sir.